Have you ever stopped for a moment and wondered, could your body be quietly trying to tell you that time is slipping away? It's a chilling thought, I know. But here's the truth, doctors often see signs in a person's face, posture, voice, and even the way they walk, that suggest their years ahead might be fewer than they think. And no, these signs aren't always dramatic. There's no loud siren, no flashing red light. Sometimes it's the smallest changes, a slower step, a dullness in the eyes, a fading appetite, that speak the loudest to a trained eye. This isn't to scare you. It's to prepare you, to guide you, and maybe even save a life. If you're over 55, this is the time to pay attention to what your body whispers before it starts screaming. Doctors aren't fortune tellers, but they've seen enough to know that certain signs, when ignored, often lead down the same painful road. Sadly, most people notice them only when it's too late. Today, I want to share 5 powerful signs that, when spotted by a medical professional, can hint that a person might be on a shorter path. But here's the good news, spotting these signs isn't the end. In fact, it's the beginning. Knowing them gives you a chance to change course, make better choices, and take back control of your health. Let's begin with sign 1, constant fatigue without a clear cause. We're not talking about the tiredness you feel after mowing the lawn or chasing the grandkids. This is different. This is a deep, heavy exhaustion that lingers like a wet coat you can't take off, no matter how much you rest, sleep, or slow down. Doctors take this seriously because it's often your body's way of saying, something's wrong inside. It could mean chronic inflammation, early heart failure, thyroid issues, or even certain cancers. Your energy is a mirror of how well your organs are working together. When that energy fades without a reason, that's a red flag. The human body works hard to stay balanced. But if your heart, kidneys, or immune system start to falter, your energy is often the first thing to drop. Doctors notice the little details, the slower movements, the slightly slouched posture, the heavier breathing, and the pauses in speech. You might not see it yourself, but to them, it's loud and clear. Too often, people brush it off. They say, it's just age, or, I didn't sleep well last night. But that's how so many seniors get caught off guard. By the time the tiredness becomes impossible to ignore, the damage is already done. Let me share a true story. Harold, a 76-year-old man, thought he just had mild anemia. But for months, walking to the mailbox felt like a chore. His appetite faded, and he stopped going to his weekly poker game. At his appointment, the doctor noticed how winded he became just stepping onto the scale. Tests revealed early-stage congestive heart failure. Because they caught it early, Harold started treatment, made changes, and gained precious years of life. The lesson? Fatigue isn't just about being sleepy. It's about life force. If that life force starts slipping away for no clear reason, don't ignore it. Notice how long it lasts, when it appears, and if it's getting worse. Doctors notice patterns even when patients don't, and if they raise an eyebrow at how tired you seem, it's for a reason. Your energy is a window into your vitality. Keep it clear, and you keep your future in your hands. If your strength, balance, or pace is quietly slipping away, it's time to ask why. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Because sometimes catching this one sign can change everything. Sign 2, noticeably slower walking speed. Most people never think twice about the way they walk. But ask an experienced doctor, and they'll tell you, your walking speed is like a window into your overall health and even your life expectancy. That steady pace you take down the hallway, across the grocery store, or through the parking lot is telling a story. And if your steps have slowed over time, that story might not be as simple as, I'm just getting older. Doctors call it gait speed. Studies show that when walking pace slows, without a recent injury, it can point to problems deep inside, heart trouble, weakened muscles, nerve issues, or even changes in the brain. And here's the surprising part, it's not just about age. Two people might be the same age, Yet the one who moves with ease and confidence is usually the one with a stronger heart, better muscle tone, and more resilient health. Why does walking speed matter so much? Because it's not just your legs moving, it's your whole body working together. Your heart pumps blood, your lungs feed oxygen, your brain sends signals, and your muscles and joints respond. If even one link in that chain weakens, walking is one of the first things to suffer. Here's the danger: when walking slows down, it often means balance and coordination are quietly slipping too. And for older adults, that's more than just inconvenient. It's risky. Slow walking is linked to a much higher risk of falls, and a single fall can start a chain of health problems that can change everything. Many seniors never fully regain their independence after a serious fall. I remember Roger, an 82-year-old retired schoolteacher. For years, he walked 2 miles every morning without fail. Then one day, it took him twice as long. His legs felt heavy, his steps unsteady. His family thought it was just age catching up. But his doctor saw something more and ordered tests. The diagnosis? Early-stage Parkinson's disease. Because they caught it early, Roger started treatment, stayed active, and kept control over his life. If he had waited, that window might have closed forever. It's easy to dismiss slow walking as harmless. But if your steps are shorter, if you feel off balance, if you hesitate on stairs or get winded on gentle inclines, it's not just age. It's a message. And doctors hear it loud and clear. The good news? This is one of the easiest signs to monitor yourself. Notice how long it takes to walk from your living room to your front door or from the parking lot to the store. Are you resting more? Are you less steady? Those are clues you can't afford to ignore. Because sometimes, the road to a longer life starts by noticing how you walk through it. Sign 3, loss of appetite or sudden weight drop. When a doctor sees an older adult who has lost a noticeable amount of weight without trying, they don't see it as a lucky break, they see a warning flag. Especially in later years, unintentional weight loss often means the body is fighting a hidden battle. And when that weight loss comes with a fading appetite, the concern doubles. You see, appetite is one of the body's quiet truth-tellers. It reflects the state of your organs, your hormones, and your overall vitality. When it fades, it can signal issues like digestive disorders, thyroid imbalance, depression, chronic infection, or even certain cancers. For many seniors, the loss of appetite doesn't feel urgent. You tell yourself, "I'm just not as hungry these days." But over time, less food means less muscle, less energy, and a weaker immune system, all of which make it harder for your body to recover from illness or injury. That's why doctors treat it as a sign worth urgent attention. Sign 3, loss of appetite or sudden weight drop. Some health indicators are so quiet, they slip right past us, and loss of appetite is one of them. If you've always enjoyed a hearty breakfast or looked forward to dinner with family, but now you find yourself picking at your plate or skipping meals altogether, it's time to ask why. A fading appetite might seem harmless at first. But to a doctor, it can point to serious underlying problems: cancer, kidney disease, thyroid disorders, or even depression. And when that loss of appetite is paired with weight loss you didn't intend, the concern rises sharply. Yes, as we age, we naturally lose a little muscle and fat. But when the body starts shedding pounds quickly, it's often a sign that the systems keeping us nourished and strong are beginning to break down. It may mean your body is struggling to absorb nutrients, metabolize food, or keep its delicate balance in check. One of the greatest concerns in this situation is something called cachexia, a wasting syndrome often seen in people with serious illnesses like certain cancers or advanced heart failure. The person might not even realize it's happening at first. They just feel a little weaker. Their clothes hang looser. Family members might notice their face looking thinner. By the time it's obvious, the process is often well underway. Take Alice, for example, a 74-year-old woman who had always been slim but healthy. Over a few months, she began losing interest in food. She thought it was just the summer heat, or maybe a touch of loneliness. Then her daughter visited and noticed Alice's cheeks looked sunken, her wrists thinner. After a gentle nudge, Alice went to the doctor. Blood work revealed early-stage pancreatic cancer. Because they caught it when they did, Alice began treatment immediately, and today, she still enjoys Sunday dinners with her granddaughter. Doctors never take these changes lightly. They know a fading appetite could mean a tumor interfering with digestion, a liver that's failing to produce bile, or an emotional struggle like depression. In older adults, depression doesn't always appear as sadness. Sometimes it shows up as withdrawal from food, social life, and daily routines. If food has lost its flavor or you find yourself skipping meals simply because you're not hungry, don't ignore it. Track your weight. Notice your portions. If clothes are looser or your strength is fading, don't chalk it up to just age. Doctors see these as signs worth investigating, because acting early can make all the difference. Sign 4. Weak grip strength or trouble holding objects. When we think of warning signs for declining health, most people don't picture their hands. But doctors do. The way you hold a coffee mug, twist the lid off a jar, or sign your name can reveal far more than you'd expect. Grip strength might seem like a small detail, but research has shown it's one of the most powerful predictors of overall vitality, and even longevity. Time and again, doctors have observed that patients with weaker grip strength face higher risks of heart disease, stroke, and even early death. It sounds extreme, but there's solid science behind it. Your grip is a mirror of your muscle health, your nervous system, and your circulation. When your hands lose strength, it's rarely just about your fingers, it's often a sign your whole system is losing resilience. And this applies to everyone, no matter your past occupation. Whether you spent your career at a desk or in heavy labor, the strength in your hands reflects your body's overall condition. If your muscles no longer respond the way they used to, it's not simply aging, it can be an early sign of broader decline, even before other symptoms appear. Doctors often check this with a handshake or a tool called a hand dynamometer to measure your squeeze. But truthfully, they can usually tell without any equipment. A hesitant grip, a jar that suddenly feels impossible to open, a mug that slips from your hand, these small moments can speak volumes about what's happening inside your body. If you find yourself struggling to hold a toothbrush, lift a fork, or carry even a light bag of groceries, your body is speaking to you, and it's time to listen. Carl, a 79-year-old gentleman, came in for what he thought was just a routine checkup. He didn't have any big complaints. He simply mentioned that he'd been dropping things more often and couldn't open his pill bottles anymore. His doctor noticed his handshake felt unusually soft. A few tests later, they discovered early-stage neurodegenerative changes. Because Carl started physical therapy and made small lifestyle adjustments right away, he was able to keep his independence far longer than if those changes had gone unnoticed. Weak grip strength isn't just about muscle. It can be an early sign of frailty syndrome, a condition linked to slower walking speed, lower energy, weight loss, and reduced physical activity. Once frailty sets in, even a mild illness or small fall can cause serious, life-altering consequences. That's why doctors focus on catching it early, when there's still a real chance to slow or even reverse the decline. Grip strength also reflects cardiovascular health. Your muscles depend on healthy blood flow, and your hands are often the first place to show when that flow is compromised. Heart disease, poor circulation, and metabolic disorders can all quietly weaken your grip long before symptoms appear elsewhere. And we can't overlook the emotional toll. Losing grip strength can feel like losing control over your own life. Everyday tasks become frustrating. Confidence slips. And independence, the very thing most older adults fight to preserve, feels like it's slipping away. That's why doctors take it seriously. To them, weak hands can be one of the earliest clues that you need to act now, not later. If your hands feel clumsier, weaker, or less reliable than before, don't brush it off as just getting older. Your body is sending a message, and your doctor has learned how to read it. Sign 5. Shrunken or sagging facial features. It may sound superficial, but one of the first things a seasoned doctor notices when assessing long-term health is the face. Not just your expression but the shape, fullness, and tone of your facial features. When the temples appear sunken, the cheeks hollow, or the jawline begins to sag more than usual, it can signal far more than normal aging. Doctors often refer to this as facial wasting, a visible clue that the body may be losing vital muscle mass and fat reserves, especially the kind that cushions and supports the skin. When this kind of change happens quickly, without an obvious cause, it's often a warning sign that the body is breaking down from within. Yes, it can be tied to severe weight loss, but it can also appear in people who haven't noticed much change on the scale. In those cases, it may be the first outward sign of malnutrition, chronic illness, or accelerated aging. Your face reflects the condition of the muscles beneath it. Muscle loss often starts subtly, in the temples, under the chin, and around the mouth. Over time, the skin begins to follow the weakened structure underneath. If that muscle and fat are disappearing, the face becomes a silent map of what's happening inside. Dennis, 81, had always been known for his square jaw and full cheeks. But within a few months, his barber commented on how different he looked, more gaunt, almost hollow. Dennis hadn't really noticed. Then his daughter visited and was shocked. She saw the same changes, and soon learned he'd been eating less, sleeping poorly, and feeling weaker. Dennis had always been a lively man, full of energy and warmth. But over time, he began to notice his face looking thinner, his features sagging, and his reflection feeling unfamiliar. After a checkup, his doctor gave him an unexpected answer. Dennis was suffering from protein-energy malnutrition. His body simply wasn't absorbing enough nutrients to keep itself strong. With proper nutrition and care, Dennis slowly regained his strength, and even some of the fullness in his face returned. Doctors don't see sagging or thinning features as just a matter of looks. They know the science behind it. Facial changes can signal muscle catabolism, a process where your body starts breaking down its own tissue for energy when food isn't providing enough. Sometimes it's a sign of long-term dehydration, liver problems, or even adrenal exhaustion. These issues slowly drain your reserves, and often, your face reveals the truth before the rest of your body catches up. And it's not only about the muscles. A dry, sagging face can mean your body has slowed its collagen production or that blood flow to the skin has decreased, both linked to overall health decline. Inflammation, poor sleep, and chronic stress leave marks on the face faster than most of us would like to admit. Doctors read these changes the same way a mechanic reads a warning light on a car's dashboard. Of course, no one expects to look the same at 75 as they did at 45. But the real question for medical professionals is how quickly these changes are happening and whether they match the rest of your health. If your face seems to have aged 5 years in just one, your body might be trying to send you an urgent message. So, take a moment to really look in the mirror. Do your temples seem more sunken? Are your cheeks flatter? Has the skin under your chin started to droop more suddenly? Don't just assume it's normal aging. Sometimes, when your face starts to fade, your body is fading too, and your doctor can see it. Final thoughts. Now that we've covered these 5 important signs, pause and think, did any of them sound familiar? Or remind you of someone you care about? These signs may be quiet, without alarms or flashing lights, but to a trained eye, they speak volumes. More importantly, they can give you an early chance to step in, ask questions, and take action before things get worse. Serious illness often feels sudden, but in reality, decline usually begins in silence, hidden in your daily habits, your posture, your appetite, and even your walking pace. Awareness is your strongest tool. It's not about living in fear. It's about living empowered. Catching these signs doesn't mean the end is near, it means the window is still open. You still have time to act. That might mean calling your doctor, making a lifestyle change, or simply listening to your body more closely. Every small step matters. If you've made it to the end of this video, it tells me something important: you care. You care enough to learn, to stay informed, and to protect yourself and your loved ones from the warnings that others might miss. And that kind of awareness is powerful. So I'll leave you with this question: which of these signs surprised you the most? Which one will you start watching for today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback keeps us motivated to create more helpful content. And if you found this video valuable, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps us reach more people who need this information. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.